Crypto Block IQ brings you the latest Bitcoin news today, Bitcoin price analysis, and Bitcoin price prediction for the next trading session and the next days and weeks. Over the next few minutes, we present to you latest crypto news. Flasko will compete with Ripple and Cardano. The impact of Janet Yellen's reign as U.S. Treasury Secretary on crypto. With this resistance breakout, Bitcoin's price should be able to escape uncertainty. As fiat currencies struggle, mainstream media attitude turns in favor of Bitcoin. Flasko will compete with Ripple and Cardano. Because of their independence from centralized authority such as governments, cryptocurrencies may help to maintain financial stability. The capacity to perform quick, low-cost transactions, as well as the durability of decentralized networks that are not susceptible to a single point of failure, are just two of the many benefits that cryptocurrencies offer over their more conventional counterparts. Cardano and Ripple, two emerging cryptocurrencies, have followed in the footsteps of the world's most well-known cryptocurrencies. Will Flasko be the next alternative investment to take their place? The Ripple dispute with the SEC is still underway, and prices may fall. Chris Larson and Jed McCaleb, who also developed the firm, created it in 2012. Ripple is a cryptocurrency and blockchain-based digital payment network. Ripple's open source and peer-to-peer nature allows instant, low-cost international currency transfers in every supported currency, from the US dollar and Japanese yen to the euro and even Bitcoin. As a worldwide payment network, Ripple has cooperated with numerous well-known financial institutions. The Ripple cryptocurrency is used in the company's services to facilitate speedy international money transfers. Cardano investors are looking for other betting investment opportunities. Cardano, a decentralized smart contract platform based on PAS, is widely regarded as one of the most promising Ethereum alternatives. Cardano was meant to exceed proof-of-work blockchains like Bitcoin and Ethereum in terms of transaction throughput and efficiency. The Cardano ecosystem will continue to grow over time, ultimately bringing enhanced capabilities to the mainnet. When Volatire's final phase is done, the blockchain will be made public. Because the vast majority of Cardano tokens have already been staked to protect the network, this application is particularly relevant to the local currency. Flasko is expected to be one of the greatest cryptocurrency investments this year. Flasko is a new cryptocurrency that has just begun its presale. Flasko offers new cryptocurrency investors an alternative investment option in the whiskey, wine, and champagne markets. Given that the presale of Flasko's new effort has just begun, investors may perceive now as a good time to invest in this new venture. The first stage is now online, with a current price of 4 cents and a 20% bonus. Within the next 48 hours, the price is anticipated to rise. Typical Bitcoin investors may safeguard their assets in this quickly expanding business, which has experienced a significant growth in the value of rare, special, and vintage bottles of whiskey, wine, and champagne investments over the previous 5 years. Many cryptocurrency experts anticipate Flasko will rise by 2,500% by early 2023. The resources below will be useful if you wish to join in the presale. The impact of Janet Yellen's reign as U.S. Treasury Secretary on crypto. Janet Yellen, the 78th U.S. Secretary of Treasury, has publicly stated her opposition to cryptocurrency on multiple occasions. During her 20-month tenure, she has claimed that Bitcoin is unsuited for financial transactions and that individuals should not depend on digital assets to fund their retirement. According to recent speculations, Yellen may step down after the midterm elections in early November. It is unclear if her successor would be more friendly to the digital asset industry or will maintain a similar negative approach. Crypto negativism in recent years. Janet Yellen has extensive experience in the U.S. government. Former President Bill Clinton nominated her to the Federal Reserve Board of Governors in 1994. 3 years later, she resigned to become chair of the Council of Economic Advisers. Yellen was named president of the Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco in 2004, making her the first woman in U.S. history to occupy that post. She returned to the Fed in 2010 as vice chair of the Federal Reserve Board of Governors, eventually becoming chair of the central bank. Yellen avoided politics throughout Donald Trump's administration. Between 2017 and 2021, she mostly gave talks in the United States and overseas, criticizing the billionaire's regime. However, Joe Biden's election as President of the United States shifted the tides, and Yellen returned to the White House as Secretary of the Treasury. Except for the past 2 years, she has not been as active about the Bitcoin business throughout the years. Shortly after taking her new job, The Economist stated that Bitcoin is a highly speculative and inefficient asset that criminals often employ in their illegal activities. Yellen made her first lecture totally devoted to cryptocurrency a few months later. She reaffirmed her position that such coins constitute a danger to the financial system, and that authorities should impose strict regulations on the business. In contrast to Bitcoin and other alternative currencies, the Secretary of the Treasury said that the eventual introduction of a digital dollar might benefit the country and its currency. Cryptocurrency should be removed from retirement plans. Yellen's critical attitude toward digital currencies culminated last summer when she advised individuals that include cryptocurrency in their retirement plans is not a good idea. "I wouldn't suggest it to most folks who are investing for their retirement. It seems to me to be a highly dangerous investment." Yellen, Janet Forbes is the source. Nonetheless, Yellen has indicated short hints of support for the Bitcoin business. Days before her nomination as U.S. Secretary of Treasury, she indicated that digital assets had advantages that the government should investigate. According to The Economist, blockchain technology has the ability to increase the efficiency of the financial system. Her impact on the evolution of crypto. Following rumors that Yellen may quit, it is worth analyzing how such changes would impact the Bitcoin business. Because she serves as the president's primary economic advisor, the U.S. Secretary of Treasury has direct influence over him. Furthermore, Yellen is the Minister of Economy and Finance, which means that all fiscal, taxes, printing, and other monetary policies must be approved by her before they are implemented. Her pessimistic view on cryptocurrency might be one of the reasons the U.S. government has been mostly silent on the subject. It remains to be seen how her successor will handle the sector. Given the importance of the post, it is reasonable to assume that the Bitcoin business will be influenced in some manner whether Yellen continues to serve or if a replacement is in place. The United States, being the world's biggest economy and one of the pioneers in crypto adoption, is perhaps the most crucial nation for the sector. We've seen how the SEC's actions and the Fed's monetary policies have affected it. Furthermore, the Biden administration has already included the business in its purview via executive orders and prospective regulatory initiatives. As a result, having a Secretary of Treasury who is more receptive to crypto might be quite useful, and, sadly, vice versa. With this resistance breakout, Bitcoin's price should be able to escape uncertainty. Bitcoin's short-term trend is horizontal, with the price oscillating between $24,500 minus $18,350. The coin price has regularly retested the bottom support throughout the consolidation, proving it as a powerful accumulation zone. During the last sell-off in September, the Bitcoin price fell to $18,350, attempting to re-establish positive momentum. Important points: the consistent increase in volume activity throughout the current downturn implies an entrenched slump. The 20-day EMA around $19,600 acts as an extra impediment to buyers. Bitcoin's intraday trading volume is $32 billion, suggesting a 20% loss. The Bitcoin price retested the $18,350 support level for the fourth time in 3 months on September 19th. Since then, coin purchasers have made many efforts to rebound off this support, but the market's broad negativity has hampered their progress. Thus, during the last 2 weeks, the Bitcoin price has oscillated between $19,600 and $18,350. This tight range demonstrates market players' uneasiness as well as a no-trading zone. Furthermore, the long wick failure at the $19,600 resistance level suggests that traders are aggressively selling at higher levels. The currency is now trading at $19,330 with an intraday price of 47 cents. In any case, a consolidation period after a directional decrease generally results in the continuation of the prevailing downward. As a result, if the coin price closes a daily candle below $18,300, the coin holder may see a 7% decline below $17,000 support. However, if market sentiment improves, the coin price may rise beyond $19,600, indicating an early indication of recovery. Furthermore, buyers would need to break through the combined resistance of $20,800 and the resistance trend line to have a safe entry. Relative Strength Index. The daily RSI chart reveals a clear bullish divergence in relation to the recent retests of the $183,500 support. This divergence illustrates the increasing bullish momentum at this support level, which aided the $19,600 breakthrough. EMAS. The downslipping critical EMAS indicate that the overall market trend is negative. Furthermore, the 20-day EMA works as a persistent barrier and may aid sellers in driving the Bitcoin price down. Intraday Bitcoin price levels: $19,332 on the spot. Sideways movement. Volatility: $19,600 and $20,600 are high resistance levels. $18,000 and $16,500 as levels of support. As fiat currencies struggle, mainstream media attitude turns in favor of Bitcoin. Despite the fact that the USD is pounding equities, commodities, and other currencies, Bitcoin remains stable between $19,000 and $20,000, forcing mainstream media to focus on it. The New York Times, an American daily newspaper, highlighted BTC's 6.5% growth in the previous 7 days, noting that it has piqued the interest of both crypto bulls and bears. In the meanwhile, Fortune magazine's crypto site has compared Bitcoin's outstanding performance to other assets such as the Japanese yen, Chinese yuan, and gold, in addition to the euro and pound. Bitcoin makes another failed $20K attempt. Bitcoin attempted to go below $20,000 again Wednesday, but it was halted and plummeted by about $1,000 as it had earlier this week. Most larger cap cryptocurrencies are presently somewhat in the red, while mid-cap altcoins are seeing modest increases. Bitcoin is rejected at $20,000. Once again, Bitcoin had a far less turbulent week than the previous one, when the activities of the U.S. Federal Reserve sent it down to a 3-month low of $18,100. The asset gained some ground and settled around $19,000. It really spent the most of the weekend and into Monday there. The first significant price change occurred on Tuesday, when the cryptocurrency reached a 12-day high of $20,400. While the bulls were poised for another move up, the bears reminded the market of their dominance and knocked the asset much down. BTC fell below $18,000 in a few hours before recovering to its normal trading range of $19,000 to $20,000. As Friday came to a finish, Bitcoin soared once more, reaching $20,000 before being halted and driven back down to $19,300. Nonetheless, BTC's dominance has increased by around 2% in a week to 39.5%. It was even at 40% earlier this week. Alternatives that are less volatile after failing to make substantial gains yesterday. Alternative currency are today unusually tranquil. Ethereum's post-merge difficulties persist. When the switch to POS was completed little over 2 weeks ago, it traded over $1,600 before plummeting to $1,200 in the days that followed. It has now regained some ground, but it is still unable to break over $1,350. Ripple has been one of the greatest performances recently, maybe due to encouraging developments in the SEC case. However, XRP has retraced 3% in a day after reaching 50 cents yesterday. On a daily basis, Binance Coin, Cardano, Solana, and Polkadot are all slightly in the red. Uniswap and QNT are the two mid-cap alts with significant increases right now. The Big Eyes coin has reached a pre-sale value of $3.2 million. The top of the cryptocurrency market is a difficult place to attain. Thousands of cryptocurrencies have attempted but failed to compete with Solana and Ethereum. Because of their answers to blockchain industry concerns and committed communities, Ethereum and Solana have stayed at the top of the market. So, can Big Eyes coin be able to fight with them at the top of the crypto ladder, and what will it provide to the market? Big Eyes coin intends to achieve their respective degrees of success with its creative ecosystem that benefits the DeFi environment while also conserving a vital component of ours, the seas. With Big Eyes, there are no lies. Big Eyes coin has a strong presence in NFTs. The platform intends to offer various collections containing NFT events that correspond to the seasons. They want to have NFT collections in the top 10 projects, with special clubs and events for Big Eyes coin NFT holders. Furthermore, the Big Eyes coin ecosystem will have a dynamic tax mechanism for NFT transactions, which will assist to return cash to the community. NFTs are subject to a 10% tax, with 5% going to big token holders, 4% going to the original seller, and 1% going to the charity wallet. Big holders may earn a passive income just by holding tokens. Big Eyes coin is giving away $250,000. 10 fortunate winners will get 250,000 big tokens. The first winner wins 100,000 big, with the remaining funds divided among the other 9. The winners will be chosen on December 11th. when the competition concludes. Speedy scalability of Solana. Solana's scaling solution is well known. To reach one of the fastest transaction speeds in the crypto industry, Solana used a proof of history and proof of stake consensus. Solana can grow successfully because to its rapid transaction time. Solana can handle up to 50,000 transactions per second at its peak speed. The crypto giant's incomprehensible speed has helped it solidify its position at the top of the crypto industry. Solana is a feasible alternative to sluggish proof-of-work systems capable of just 10 transactions per second. Speed isn't the only factor that keeps Solana ahead of the competition. Solana transactions are low cost, ensuring that transactions for developers and consumers remain around 1 cent. Merge of Ethereum 2.0. The most anticipated news in cryptocurrency history has taken place on Ethereum. Every crypto fan was captivated by the Ethereum 2.0 merger, which saw Ethereum update its antiquated POW consensus to the contemporary POS consensus. With the transition to POS, Ethereum has reduced its carbon footprint by 99.95%. The environmental effect of the cryptocurrency market is a prevalent complaint. Will this merger benefit Ethereum's competitor Bitcoin, which continues to employ the ecologically hazardous POW consensus? Whatever the future holds for Ethereum, it will almost certainly stay successful. It is continually improving its technology, providing new methods for customers to make passive revenue in an ecologically beneficial manner. In conclusion, while competing with Solana and Ethereum may seem to be an insurmountable undertaking, it is incorrect to dismiss the possibilities. The Bitcoin market is an unpredictable environment where surprises occur on a daily basis. Big Eyes Coin is equipped to compete in the cryptocurrency industry with Solana and Ethereum. The ecosystem it has built may pique the interest of many crypto aficionados. It prioritizes its consumers while also benefiting the ecology in which we live. The Bitcoin is now in pre-sale and has raised $3.2 million so far. The United States Department of Justice has released a framework for cryptocurrency enforcement. The U.S. Department of Justice issued a cryptocurrency enforcement framework on October 8 in response to emerging dangers linked with the ongoing acceptance of Bitcoin and similar technology. Attorney General William Barr, who heads a cyber digital task force, issued the following statement in response to the publication. Cryptocurrency is a technology that has the potential to change the way human beings interact and organize society. It is critical for America and its allies to ensure that the use of this technology is safe and does not jeopardize public safety or national security. Those on the task team voiced opinions similar to those stated by the Attorney General. FBI Director Christopher Wray also said that cryptocurrencies are being used in a rising variety of digital crimes, such as ransomware and dark web payments for illegal items. The 83-page research, titled Cryptocurrency: An Enforcement Framework, discusses a number of cryptocurrencies-related issues. Financial transactions related with the conduct of crimes, money laundering and the hiding of lawful activities from tax, reporting, or other legal obligations, and crimes, such as theft, directly involving the cryptocurrency marketplace itself. The framework also investigates the government's different legal and regulatory capabilities, as well as the emerging dangers related to cryptocurrency regulation. Growing dangers, according to the DOJ, include Bitcoin mixer technology, decentralized apps, and jurisdictional arbitrage allowed by inconsistencies in global laws. Privacy-focused cryptocurrencies Zcash, Dash, and Monero were particularly identified as potential conduits for criminals. The framework, a discussion of the ongoing challenges that the government faces in cryptocurrency enforcement, particularly with regard to business models and activity that may facilitate criminal activity. A concerted effort to regulate Bitcoin. The DOJ's decision to release an enforcement framework follows a number of other regulatory bodies' actions. Europol, the European Union's police agency, has issued its own assessment stating that Bitcoin mixer technologies like CoinJoin and privacy currencies like Monero pose a threat to public safety. The group also said that OpenBazaar, a cryptocurrency-focused marketplace, might be used by criminals to sell illegal items. This happened soon after the Financial Action Task Force, a global anti-money laundering organization, and the U.S. Internal Revenue Service announced plans to further regulate cryptocurrencies. Specific steps have also been taken to govern the space. The U.S. Commodities and Futures Trading Commission has accused BitMEX with suspected breaches of derivatives regulations and anti-money laundering legislation. Warrants have been issued for the company's 3 co-founders, one of whom has already been detained. The Securities and Exchange Commission of the United States has revealed evidence that John McAfee was paid over $22 million in cryptocurrency to promote ICOs without declaring his conflict of interest. He was arrested in Spain for dodging taxes on those promotions and other sources of income. Other particular actions include the charge of further securities offenses by US ICO providers and the UK Financial Conduct Authority's prohibition of Bitcoin derivatives for retail users. Given the timing and scope of these initiatives, it seems probable that various regulatory bodies and governments are collaborating to iron out problems in a quickly developing business. This is Crypto Block IQ. Subscribe to this channel to get the latest price analysis and trading systems signals. Write down below in the comments what is your strategy for the next few days. Click the card on the right to get to more Bitcoin price prediction analysis.